Hello everybody, we're going to be working on page 34 today. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on using multiplication, using our number bonds, and using place value dis to find tenths and to find hundredths. So we're going to be focusing on doing that today, knowing that when we have a tenth, we are going to have 10 hundredths compared to each. So let's start working our first problem here. Let's zoom on in. And we're going to be working with this first problem here. And we're going to count all the hundredths that we have, and we're going to make tenths, and we're going to make hundredths here. So if I have, looks like I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so it looks like I have a group of 10 hundredths here. Looks like I have another 10 hundredths here. And that gives me 20 hundredths. And it looks like, so this is 20. So this is 10, 10. And I got 2, 4, 6, and 7. Okay, I got 7. Sorry. I got 7 hundredths there. So we have 27 hundredths altogether. How many tenths does that make? Well, that makes 2 tenths and 7 hundredths, or 0 and 27 hundredths. We are focusing on knowing that when we have 10 hundredths here and 10 hundredths here, that 10 hundredths equals 1/10. Okay? So here, this equals 1/10, and this equals 1/10. We have 10 hundredths. All right, let's go on to let's try these bottom two. So let's erase this. Let's move on, and let's focus on the bottom portion of these problems today. We are going to be looking at solving. Let me look at the instructions. Let me zoom out. Perfect. We're going to be using both tenths and hundredths place value dis to represent each number. We're going to write the equivalent and number in decimal, fraction, and unit form. Okay? So this first one's really simple for us. We have 0.03 because that's 0 and 3 hundredths. How many hundredths do we have? We have 3 hundredths. How are we going to represent it? We are going to represent it as a decimal. So place value dis. Actually, I can make mine way smaller than that. So let's make 3 zeros, and we're going to do 0, 0, 1, 0, and 100th, 0, and 100th. Okay, there we go. There's our first place value dis. Okay. We are working with B now. So we have 15 hundredths. What does that look like as a decimal? It looks like 0 and 15 hundredths. How many tenths do we have? We have 1/10, and we have 5 hundredths. How do we know? Well, when I make place value dis, I can do this in 2 different ways, and I'll show you in 2 different ways. I can draw 0 and 1/10, and I can draw and I can draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can draw 0 and 0 100ths, 0, 0, 100ths, 0 and 0 100ths, 0, 0, 100ths, and 100ths. Okay? We have 5 of them. Or what I can do is I can make 10 100ths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I'll do is I'll kind of make the size of this 0. Sorry, I'm going to start over. Make this a little bit larger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put hundredths in each of these. Okay, I'm going to put hundredths in each of them. And there's my tenth. So this equals 1/10. Because 10 hundredths equals 1/10. Okay. To get my other 5 hundredths, I'm just going to make 5 more. So depending on how you want to do this on your place value disk, you can do both, or you can do one of them. So you can make the tenths, and then make the hundredths, or you can make 10 hundredths to make 1/10 and do the rest. It is up to you on how you want to make your place value disks, but I want you to realize that when we have 10 hundredths, that makes 1/10. All right, let's work with C here. We have the decimal, 0 and 72 hundredths. What does that look like as a fraction? Well, that looks like 72 hundredths. And what does that look like here? It looks like 72 hundredths. And they gave us the decimal. So let's make this into place value disks. And let's use, I'm not going to do it this way, because this way is going to take quite a bit of time. So I am going to focus on making tenths and then making hundredths. So I have 7 tenths. So I'm going to make 7 disks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 0 and 1/10, 1/10, 0, 1/10, 0, 1/10, 0 and 1/10, and 0 and 1/10. Oh, forgot this one. And 0 and 1/10. How many hundredths do I have? Well, I have 2 hundredths. So make 2 disks, and I'm going to put hundredths within them. Perfect. And that models 7 tenths and 2 hundredths. That models 0 and 72 hundredths. Perfect. Okay, I want you to try the next one on your own. And I want you to try the one on your own. It's the same one as C. And for E, I am going to work with, I'm going to start working on E. So pause the video, try to do D on your own. When you've completed that, then I want you to go on to E, okay? We're going to go into D. We have 8 tenths here. How many do we have? We have 8 tenths as a fraction. Let's make the place value disks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And there you go. Awesome. There we go. All right. I'm going to start this one out for you, and then I want you to tell me what... All right, we are going to have 7 tenths and 2 hundredths. So I know that that looks like 0.72 hundredths. So we'll have 72 hundredths. So I want you to make place value disks with the tenths. Do what we've been doing. So you should have 7 tenths and 7 and 2 hundredths. So mark those. And then for 80 hundredths as a decimal, just so you have it, it's going to look like this. It's going to look 0 and 80 tenths. Oh, my apologies. Nope. 0 and 80 tenths. Okay? So 80 hundredths is 0 and 80 tenths. 80 hundredths. All right? And then make the place value dis. So I hope that you learned something new today in regards to tenths and hundredths. Remember that when we have 8 tenths, that will be 80 hundredths. They're just going to be equivalent to each other. That is the same thing. So when you have 80 hundredths, you can say 8 tenths. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic day. I hope that you learned something new about decimals and using place value dis to help you understand tenths to hundredths or hundredths to tenths.